Yeah, well, you know, everybody's got a reason for being here. My reason is basically, I'm glad to see people is waking up.
Okay.
You know, on different levels. You know, some people wake up earlier, some people wake up a little later. I'm glad to see that most people is beginning to get the picture, see the elephant in the living room.
I start my city with a brick, then add another brick. Brick by brick, I manufacture homes for fallen angels. I ain't no great Samaritan, that's just the way the game goes. Respect the polars, but acknowledge middle value rainbows. My snout's turned up from Dream Factory outlets, slinging bottled prosperity for the kamikaze colonel. Yeah, bronze the match that burned his Nazi journal. Plotting verticals amidst the blatantly horizontal models, then swallowed by famished potholes. And I'm tired, style up on these functions. Kill the cotton candy clouds and Huckleberry Justice League. Another knuckle dragger dungeon breed. Run, breathe, sin, bellow. Wild ace scream through your style to hear the echo. Alright then, flinch for the great granddaddy payback when little Billy put a tugboat. Now he thinks he's Captain Ahab. Fascist, it takes more than peg legs, birds, and eye patches. Learn that lesson, you'll be swashbuckling with the best of them. Whipped over spilt milk and got your crown.
So you know anyone that's really good at
obeying
orders,
with a line longer than your most walk meridian, connecting life with the species of idiots. We've now officially scraped barrel bottom, Aesop rotten apple to the core, but y'all ignored them. Well, I know a planet made of porcelain, and once I get tired of holding this gavel up, y'all prayer circles met a more born again.
So this is not about core against rich, it's not about right or left politics, it's about right, the difference between good and evil, basically. Greed and evil
I just feel the energy here is really beautiful. I feel that there's a lot of things that I can do to contribute, although sometimes I'm not focused enough to do that. But you know, it needs work. But it's beautiful, and there's a lot of really amazing people here who have a lot to share. And I couldn't, you know, where else would I go?
Every product we make is in this first 25% of the store. You can see the whole product line. And as you see up on the ceiling, we've even labeled the sections. Home, music, kids, genius on this side, and pro, movie, photos, and etc. on this side. So the first 25% shows you our entire product line.
Come on, Cammy. 1 minute till opening.
You know, where else would I go?
You know when things are wrong. Yeah. And if you're not the type of person who asks why, then you won't really investigate.
You're not a normal person,
right? If you don't know, well, why did that happen? Reasons. You won't get to the problem. You won't get to find out why before you can solve the problem. A lot of people want to solve the problem, but they don't know why it happened. You with me? You ain't gonna get nowhere with that. So if you're a logical thinking individual, yeah, and God gives you rights to think. He gives you a mind, He gives you intelligence, and you have a right to use it to solve problems, because you got problems all over. That's simple.
I think the Occupy movement has already achieved a huge amount in bringing home to people the depth of worry about the way society is going, and about the failure of people to care for each other, about the lack of empathy, and about the fact that we have a society which is ruled by greed, where a very small number of people effectively monopolise political power, and there's no chance of either representation or of media exposure to the other views. So I think, all that has been got across by this. I think it has to go on to channel those feelings more strongly and in other ways, and to find ways of bringing organisations of social solidarity together and increasing informal social institutions in which people can care for each other.
I came down here yesterday. I raised the same points actually, that do they have any concrete program for communicating a specific agenda? This multivocality of shouting questions at church leaders, who incidentally have appointed a banker as their main representative, a merchant banker who is the cornerstone of this gross inequality and the destruction of the fabric of a society. That is the representative of the Church of St. Paul's Cathedral.
And finally, seeing as you were down here yesterday, the news broke yesterday that the church wasn't going to follow through legal action, and then it followed a little while after that the city wasn't going to follow through legal action. What do you make of that move? Why do you think they've decided not to pursue legal action?
Because they are trying to test the weather. They are trying to ascertain what the public mood is. And as the public mood, they are hoping that the public mood will become disillusioned as they realise that this protest movement has no real concrete, specific issues to raise. And I'll tell you finally what will happen. There will be these mass meetings with the senior clergy at St. Paul's. They will be shouting questions and vague suggestions, and it will be lost in an amorphous mass of what we call multivocality.
Last question.
Yeah.
Really, it's about the Occupy movement. Do you think it's going to change anything? And if you don't, what do you think will change things? And if you do think it will change something, how?
Well, there's a lot of different point of views here. And for instance, you got like anti-capitalism. And I find that was one of the main banners I saw here. Even on the TV, the BBC loved that. Because it's not about capitalism, it's about criminals. Criminals have legal statutes on their side to commit all the crimes on this planet against individual countries and everyone. And they are protected by their legal statute. Actually, my rough definition of legal statutes and what's happening here is basically legal really means a license to commit crime. Yeah? And lawful means law of the land, fair to everyone, and all criminals will be brought to justice, including politicians, bankers, and all the people who committing horrendous crime on this planet, and they're getting away.
Concrete change will occur. Concrete change will occur when the inequalities of the system become so oppressive, when there are so millions unemployed, when so many have lost their homes, when so many elderly are dying of hypothermia, all as the result of the Thatcherite policies which the Labour Party too enhanced during their ghastly regime. All those who are oppressed, I'm talking about the elderly, I'm talking about the masses of unemployed who are increasing to a vast extent. I'm talking about all the students who see a once fine state education being reduced to a commercial market. All those must realise that peaceful protest is not the answer. Greece must be their exemplar.
Yeah, man. Listen, I just want people to know, right? Once you're fearful, you don't have no power. You need to know who you are in this life. You got to know that you got a creator. We all have the same power, and once you have fear in you, your power is gone. So don't be fearful. you got truth on your side, yeah, because truth will deliver whatever you're looking for, yeah, and you got to live that truth, yeah, because we're all responsible for what's happening for us, around us, and we got to take responsibility and don't be fearful, yeah. When the people come to you and try to use force and violence against you, you have to tell them no, you're not having it. Period. Simple. Don't be afraid of them, right? Because they're a bunch of criminals. Period.
What do you think will come out of this, and what do you hope to come out of this?
Right. Well, I'm not sure that thinking or hoping are very useful. When you say what do I think will come out of this, you're kind of asking me for a prediction. I do have a meta prediction, which is that most predictions that people make will not come true, including that one. What do I hope will come out from here? Again, I'm not sure what hope really is. I think that one of the many things that I'm learning is I'm learning to use my imagination again. I have teachers around me in the form of, well, one of my teachers is my child. He's a 4-year-old. He's very, very good at it. He doesn't even, I mean, he doesn't really let me get involved because I'm not as good as he is. So like this morning I wanted to get involved in his imagination games, but he sort of let me because he knows I'm not up to scratch. But I can watch him. And so rather than saying what do I hope, the question I think I would ask myself is what can I imagine can happen? And I ask that to anybody who's watching this. I ask you, what do you imagine can happen from this? And that's a process of using my imagination, right? As opposed to it being shut down by watching some TV, watching somebody else's opinion, reading someone else's opinion.